This episode of Unexplained Arkansas is sponsored by King Yodeler Tattoos. King Yodeler specializes in black and gray, color realism art, and custom hand-drawn tattoos. King Yodeler believes tattoos can be as unique as the lives we live. Consultations are free. To book your consultation or to discuss your tattoo ideas and wants, you can go to www.kingyodeler.com or email Jody at kingyodelertattoos@gmail.com. All of King Yodeler's contact information will be supplied in our show notes and will be posted on your social medias. So you can go find King Yodeler on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Go follow and like them. You can call to set up appointments or check on availability for walking in, and their phone number is 479-530-7418. Go check out their amazing work. Thanks.
This is Unexplained Arkansas, and I'm Amber.
And I'm Lisa.
I thought I was going to trip you up because instead of saying this is Amber, I said I'm Amber. I'm like, okay, I wonder what she's going to do. So, yeah, but you just went with it. Wow.
I just went with it. I did.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So, hello. How are you?
I am good. I took a big fat nap, as you like to say, and I'm feeling refreshed.
Well, good.
And you said my hair looked good. My hair is fixed today, so.
Yeah, mine is not.
Yours
I have not fixed my hair. No.
Yours is not.
I've
How are you?
I'm good. Well, I'm going to yawn. I've been cleaning house. I took a big nap at some point today, too. Ran a few errands and about to start some homework after this. So,
Yay.
50 million things, different day.
Another day, another dollar.
Yeah.
Or another day, no dollars.
Yes, it's the weekend. I do have Parker down here playing with my microphone. He's about to unplug it.
Oh, yeah, he's ridiculously cute.
He is actually the sweetest cat I've ever had. I mean, he really is. He's under my feet 24/7 or sitting by me. So, yeah.
He's ridiculous.
He likes the podcast. Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. Today's episode is the haunting of this old. Let me rephrase that. Today's episode is the haunting of the Old Statehouse. We will be talking about the first Arkansas Capitol site, which is the Old Statehouse. I'm so excited. This was so much fun. I enjoyed all of this research, and it's just really cool. Making me want to go and visit again. I haven't been in a few years, so definitely going to do that soon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I walked through last spring, but that's a dance mom life. Gosh, we spend a lot of time downtown Little Rock for dance season, so I like to walk through and see their exhibits when we have a minute. So yeah, it's beautiful and I love it. So you were messing with that cat.
Well, no, there was a bottle of water that one of the boys left without a lid on it, and the cat went straight for it, and he was sitting by it, and he had his little paw like he was going to push it over, and he was looking at me like, what are you going to do, Mama?
Nothing.
Yeah, he's just like the rest of these kids here. What you going to do about it, Mama?
I'm going to tear something up.
Yep. Okay, so we have some pod business. So go ahead. Yes. What is our pod business?
Shout outs. We didn't do any last week. So shout outs. I'm going to do Patreons first. So yay. Patreon. I've got Diane H. We are so thankful for you joining our Patreon nation, and also Tiffany. So yay. Thank you so much. Yeah, and then so thank you Patreons. And then we do have, we have mail. We got mail.
We got mail.
And I apologize because I hardly ever check our P.O. box. So anyway, we did get mail from Mary A. Sent a really sweet card, and we love it and we cherish it. And we always return mail when we get mail. So, and then also your good friend she's from Portland, right?
Yes,
Am I
Portland,
crazy?
Oregon. Yes.
Kelly A.
Yes, and yes.
Yes, and yes. So she sent like 2 of the awesomest postcards. And we did post those. So postcards that she sent.
Yes.
And then Janelle D also sent. So she sent a vintage Osmond postcard. And then she sent some stickers, some vintage stickers, because she was cleaning out her like childhood home. And so she mailed them from Utah.
So sweet.
I know. So
you didn't even tell me about those.
I know. I was going to give them to you. So anyway, I need to give them to you. So to keep in your cabinet of, curiosities. So anyway, yeah. So we did post those mailers. So go check those out. And then, so that came all the way from Utah. We were so thrilled. And then one more shout out. So I was at the Texas Road, I think it's called Texas Roadhouse today. We went there to eat after church, and one of our good old friends, Shonda, that went to school with us, she's also a listener. So I saw her and her family came in, and then her adorable 9-year-old Jax came by our table and was like, I just love to listen to you all show. And he was adorable. And he is a fourth grader.
So
he's 9. Yes. And I told him, I was like, I've got a picture, so I'll be posting the picture of us. And he's coming to the show. He's coming to the show. I didn't even tell you that. So they're coming, him and Shonda are coming to the show. And also, I told him that I would give a shout out, and his favorite episodes are the Boys on the Tracks. So,
cool.
Hi, Jax. This is your shout out. So, yay. So, we've got the best listener buddies. So
we do. Absolutely.
The best.
100%. Yes. Okay.
So that's all I had. So, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So do you want to talk about where we will be on October? What is that, the 16th?
Oh, no. We've got to talk about where we're going to be September 28th.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
You talk about it.
No, you talk about it. You're the business end of this operation.
No. Okay, so we will be, and I'm glad you said that because I forgot. So we've been posting it, but we will be at the Independence County Library on September 28th, which when we post this will be Monday. So you'll have 6-day countdown, 5 days anyway. So we will be there. It's a Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Independence County Library. So please share with all your Batesvillian friends. And me and Amber are going to be discussing Batesville. We're going to be discussing, Amber's going to cover like haunted stuff, like all of the haunts, the legends. And then I'm going to be covering a true crime little tidbit connected to Batesville. And so it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have our merch with us. And so we really want everyone to come out and see us.
Well, you left out the best part.
What?
We are going to Fred's Fish afterwards, which is my favorite fish house in Central Arkansas.
Afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
Definitely.
I don't know how many of you will come, but if there's 90 of us, that might,
that might put the fish house in a little bit of a hurt, but we'll see.
We'll see. If there's 5, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's perfect. We'll just go eat fish afterwards. Okay, so I'm excited. So the October 16th, now that is also something you know more about than me. What is that exactly?
So it is the RCast. It's their Halloween special show. And we will be kind of blasting that as we get closer, but that is it is a live show. I think you have to get a ticket, but it is free, and it's a Halloween show. And basically it's the RCast, which is the Arkansas Coalition of Podcasting, or Arkansas Podcast Coalition. So I always get that confused, but that event, me and Amber will be at that event on stage at the Ron Robinson, and I think it's 6:00. It's a Wednesday. It's the 16th of October. So, and we did have people vote for our costume, so we will be in costume. And go check out our social medias on that. You all were pretty adamant in your votes. So, yay. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming, and
Did you?
and I'm not upset about it. And so I was thinking though, we're going to be, and it's not a surprise because everybody voted and everybody knows we're going to try to go as Blair and Joe for the October 16th thing. But we could always do one of the other ones on the 31st.
There's still
you're going to have to, like Scott's going to be out of state, so he may have to go trick-or-treating with me and Max.
Okay.
So we may as well dress up like one of those other.
That's on a Thursday night. Yeah, I can do
It's on a Thursday night. Yeah, so I'll be all by my lonesome, so I'll need you to help me trick-or-treat. So, with my toddler. Yeah.
I can do that.
Yes. Last night she went as the other parent to the Battle of the Bands.
I did. It was fun. Battle of the Bands.
It takes a village to raise my children because there's so many of them. Yeah, but we had fun and had some good pizza and habit. So,
U.S. pizza.
Very good.
Still thinking about it. It was good.
Yes. But so I was thinking about our costumes, and there was a redo of it was one Facts of Life episode that came out a few years ago. It was as a tribute to Norman Lear. Norman Lear is the one that developed those shows. Anyway, they had a tribute show to him. Jennifer Aniston played Blair, and Catherine Hahn played Joe. You need to look that up. I think you can get it on Hulu, maybe. I don't know. You need to watch that because they are playing these characters, and they're like 50 years old. So we're like 40, and we're going to be Blair and Joe. So yeah. And Catherine Hahn. Well, Catherine Hahn is like my favorite person right now. She's Agatha and Agatha all along. And I was so excited that came out last week. Oh my gosh. So that show is really good. It's got my other favorite person, Aubrey Plaza, in it. So this is like my favorite of the moment show. So if you haven't seen Agatha all along, it's on Disney. Okay. So any more pod business? That was an awful lot of pod business, but
that's it.
That's pod business. Yeah.
Busy potting.
Busy potting. Okay. Not potting.
Not potting. Oh, I've got to get busy potting my mums, actually.
Yes.
In my planters.
That's what reminded me. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. You may have to cut some of this, jabber for time's sake that we just did.
We'll see.
Yeah. But today we are going to talk about the Old Statehouse Museum, which is a museum now, but it used to be our capital in Arkansas. And I was really excited doing the research for this, and there's so much information about it. And I would like to give a shout out to Arkansas Heritage and the Encyclopedia of Arkansas, both of which were the primary sources for my information today.
Yeah.
And they're always full of good stuff for us to use on these podcasts.
Yes.
Yep. All right.
I concur.
I concur. So the Old Statehouse Museum in Arkansas is the state's original Capitol building. You may or may not know that, but and I knew that. I just don't think about that. Yeah. But it was constructed beginning in 1833, so it is very, very old.
It is
so
old.
Over nearly 200 years, this historic structure and its grounds have borne witness to pivotal moments in the state's history. So when you think about the state capitol, you more than likely think about the one we have now, the big one, which we will talk about that in an episode in the near future. But this one has actually been one that has seen a lot of history, a lot of the early history of the state. It was the site of Arkansas's admission to the Union. It was the site of a deadly confrontation between two legislators. It was also the site of the state's secession and alignment with the Confederacy. And later on, it became a place for groundbreaking medical research and then 2 presidential election night celebrations. So it's had a life.
It's seen a lot.
And the cool thing about it is today the museum and the exhibits are still open to the public, and their goal is to preserve Arkansas history, which I think they do really well. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. So in 1836, Arkansas became a state. If you grew up in Arkansas, like Lisa and I, you had to take Arkansas history in junior high school, and that was always a test question. When did Arkansas become a state? 1836, right?
Yes.
So it was during this time that, Little Rock and things were being constructed. Kentucky architect Gideon Shyrock, or wait, In 1836, Arkansas became a state. Kentucky architect Gideon Schrock was appointed to design the new capital, and he chose a Greek revival style for the new capital to emphasize the connection between the newest state of the young United States and the original democracy of ancient Greece.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's
cool. Makes sense, right? The Old Statehouse in Little Rock, Pulaski County, is the oldest standing state capitol building west of the Mississippi River. But you knew that, right? We talked about that. Yeah. It was originally built to accommodate all the branches of Arkansas's new state government, but the structure has served, like I said, a multitude of uses over the years. And then in 1951, as we know, it became a museum, and it is now under the direction of the Department of Arkansas Heritage, and it continues to preserve and showcase our rich history. Now, they have kind of a motto, and their motto is to interpret the history of Arkansas from statehood to the present, and to preserve the Old Statehouse, and to collect and preserve artifacts that aid in that interpretation and preservation. So that's their two main goals, is to interpret and preserve. And I think they do that very well.
I do too. I think they do.
Yes.
So,
yes.
It's in very good condition.
It is. It's beautiful. I love it. Yeah. So first I did a little history on the Old Statehouse, and then we'll talk about the more spooky things. But in 1833, Arkansas Territorial Governor John Pope, he anticipated Arkansas's statehood. I mean, it was imminent by this time. And he hired Gideon Schrock, or however you say it, the architect behind Kentucky's state capitol, to design our state capitol building that was overlooking the Arkansas River. And the architect envisioned a sizable stone structure with a copper roof, drawing up plans in the popular Greek revival style favored for public buildings at the time. He sent associate George Weigart to oversee construction, but Weigart was forced to modify the original design due to budget constraints. Weigart reduced the building size, replaced the stone with a stucco-covered brick, and used fake finishes like graining on interior doors and columns, as well as faux marbling on mantles. So it didn't really get the look that they had envisioned it having. Yeah.
Faux.
Yes. And that will come into play later. So the central block was originally intended to house the three branches of government. And quick civics quiz. What are those?
Well, you have like you have the judicial, and then you have the executive, and then
legislative.
Yes.
Yes. Hey, I got to be a teacher. I got to be a teacher when I have to be, right? That's a quiz question too. Okay, so featuring a grand portico with a massive pediment and Doric columns on both the north and south entrances. So by the time Arkansas achieved that statehood we talked about in 1836, construction of the Capitol was well underway. So I'm going to refer to it as the Capitol from here on out until we get to until it's not, right? Because it was.
So at that time,
yeah. So the legislative branch consisted of the House and Senate chambers, and it was in the center section of the building. The executive branch occupied the west wing. Imagine that.
Makes sense.
While the judicial branch was situated in the east wing. In 1836, the first session of the Arkansas General Assembly convened in the original House of Representatives chamber, even as construction continued around them while they were talking.
Good.
Yeah. Yes.
I can't even imagine what that was like back then. Can you imagine? Anyway, it's just, I know that even when you do like a house remodel and you have to live in it while luckily I haven't been there. I've done a house remodel that I did not have to live in, but it's tough. It's tough.
Apparently they did that for a long time.
Oh gosh. How long did it take?
Well, by 1842, Yeah, we're
Whoa.
talking about 1836 to 1833 to 1842.
Oh, goodness.
But in 1842, Governor Archibald Yell, and I'm assuming that's where Yell County comes from. I could be
I,
wrong, but I
yeah,
think that's
probably.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He declared that the building was complete in
Oh,
1842.
okay.
Yes.
He was
They
probably like, we're done with this. We're
probably,
complete.
yeah. But they had just added covered walkways, and and we're adding
Yeah.
little things here and there. Okay, so there you go. 1842, it was
Interesting.
declared complete, right?
I'm
Yes.
declaring this complete.
Yes. So and did I didn't talk about the rotundas. So the Old Statehouse features two rotundas.
Oh,
The first, built in the 1830s, is a Greek revival inspired structure with the largest balcony floor. The second rotunda was constructed in the 1880s, and it draws inspiration from the Victorian architectural style.
oh, awesome. And yes, Archibald Yell is the same Yell for that
Mm-hmm.
county. So yes.
Yes. So in 1885, the State House underwent its first major expansions,
Mm.
and
What year? Sorry. 18.
1885, and they
Okay. So,
basically renovated it. Yeah,
okay.
so they
40
renovated the structure.
years they got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that makes sense. That
Okay.
does, yeah. So that mostly meant enclosing all three individual branches of the government and connecting them. Also, an addition was made to the back of the newly connected State House building where offices for the Arkansas state legislators are now located.
Mm.
Also, the original staircase leading up to the chambers was very steep and hazardous, and they nicknamed it Breakneck.
I'm sorry. That's funny. Anyway, we
Yeah.
had a situation in the house before this where it was a wooden curved staircase.
Mm-hmm.
You would have died. So and Elle actually fell down the
Oh
stairs.
no.
Yeah. And it was like it was a nightmare. That's it. We had to get out. We just couldn't do it. I can't do stairs if I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like I have
Yeah.
stairs here, but I don't have to deal with that. So breakneck, that's cool.
Breakneck.
I like
Yeah.
that.
So they were replaced though with safer but still beautiful Victorian staircases.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
A
Yep.
good old Victorian staircase.
All right. So the Old State House, is a beautiful place, but it continued
Yes.
to have issues, and we
Mm.
will talk about why here in just a
Like
minute. But
plumbing.
well, yeah, that was
Oh,
one
did
thing.
it have plumbing?
It was
Oh,
mostly the foundation that was the
ooh.
issue. Yeah.
And it's beside the river, so I'm sure that
Mhm.
ground is okay. Yeah.
So the interior renovations that were happening in the late 1800s also included a Victorian influenced curving staircase,
Mm-hmm.
skylights, and an opening into the rotunda area.
Mm.
Exterior improvements were also made, such as an installation of an elaborate iron grillwork and the placement of statues representing the three graces, which are law, justice, and mercy, atop the building. And, that's usually the first thing that you notice when you get there is that beautiful gate, that black gate, elaborate
Yes.
iron.
I
Yeah,
love it.
I do too. So, yeah, those were all things that
I
came
love a good
later.
iron gate.
Yes, I do too.
There's
Unless
not
it's
enough of
rusted.
those.
Unless
Unless
it's
it's rusted.
rusted and I don't have my tetanus shot.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Are you gonna
so
climb it, Amber?
yes. So now, so that's a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there its condition just deteriorated over time,
Mm-hmm.
and in 1899 the state's financial condition was improving, and as the state's financial condition improved, it seemed like the state house was just getting worse and worse.
Oh.
So, yes. So, according to the Encyclopedia of Arkansas, in early January of that year, heavy rains caused large pieces of the ceiling plaster to fall in the Senate chamber. I wonder if people were in there while they were falling. That would have been awful.
That
Um,
is
yes.
yikes.
So, on January 12th, 1899, the Senate concurrent resolution 3 was passed or introduced, I'm sorry, and it called for the construction of a new Capitol building. So, it didn't have a very long run as the actual Capitol,
Uh-huh.
but during its time period, several really crazy things happened, and several really interesting things. One of the most famous occurrences was the stabbing death of Joseph J. Anthony, in 1837, and we'll talk about that. Also, in May 1861, the second session of the secession convention met in the original House of Representatives chamber. All but one delegate, Isaac Murphy, voted for the state to secede from the Union. So that was a very important event. And yeah, and Isaac Murphy would, of course, eventually go on to be a governor. So the building was home to the Confederate government until Union forces captured Little Rock in September of 1863, leading the Confederate government to then relocate to Hempstead County. Yeah. So during that time when the Union, took control of Arkansas, Isaac Murphy became the governor. Yes. And again, he was the only one that voted against secession.
I wonder where he hung out during the war.
That's a good question. But like we said,
I wonder if he was and there were several Arkansans that did stay with the Union because there were, there's fighting on both sides. But I wonder if he was like a soldier or something.
I don't know that much about Isaac Murphy. I know that when we were talking about the history of the Crescent in the 1800s, we had mentioned Union, Confederate, and there was a lot of Union side Arkansans. So there's no telling where he was during the time.
That General Powell was a Unionist and the 9th governor.
Yeah.
And responsible for the Crescent Hotel. Thank you. I love him.
Yes. So in 1874, the State House was also the scene of an armed conflict called the Brooks-Baxter War, which we will talk about. And this was basically an attempt made by a failed gubernatorial candidate, Joseph Brooks, of the Brindletail faction of Arkansas's Republican Party, to take control of the state from Alicia Baxter, who was the Republican governor. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. I'm about the murder of Joseph J. Anthony, and I'll try to be serious. Yes. Okay. So, Joseph.
Scary sounding, a stabbing.
It is. It was a stabbing. It was awful, and there were people everywhere. So, Joseph J. Anthony was a renowned soldier, a politician, and an Arkansas pioneer before he ever became a politician. Well, before he ever got to this point where he was in the legislature. Joseph J. Anthony was a romantic.
Was a romantic? What are you going to say there? I think all this is good stuff. Okay.
No. Joseph J. Anthony was a renowned soldier, politician, and an Arkansas pioneer. But unfortunately, he was tragically killed in one of the most extraordinary and bizarre events in our state's history. And he became the only sitting member of the legislature to die during a debate in the Arkansas House of Representatives.
Tell me more.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much the long and short of it. I do have actually, I have a little bit more. Yeah. So Anthony was an impressive dude. He was very large. He was powerfully built. He was over 6 foot tall, and he weighed 200 pounds. And he looked like George Clooney. No, I'm kidding. He didn't.
So it's funny how that is large then. That's not large. I mean, that is large, but not really large now.
I guess back then it was.
But then it was probably huge because people just weren't as tall.
Yeah.
And they weren't as big.
Yeah. Well, historians say his stature was towering.
Wow.
He had a fair education, more than ordinary intelligence, and he was familiar with the law. So that made him a natural choice for public office in Arkansas. And, sure enough, in 1836, the year that Arkansas became a state, Anthony was elected to represent part of Randolph County in the Arkansas General Assembly's lower house. And, Randolph County, that's where Pocahontas is. Yep.
So that's where he was from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Interesting. Yes.
A large man from Pocahontas. Continue.
Yes. On December 4th, 1837, John Wilson, who was the Speaker of the House. Okay. So this was the Speaker of the House now, man.
Of the House. Okay.
Yes. And he was the newly elected president of the Arkansas Real Estate Bank, took offense at remarks made by Anthony. Anthony was known to have a somewhat dictated. How do you say that? He was known to have somewhat of a dictator approach when it came to legislative business. The dispute centered around a proposed amendment to a bill regarding bounties for wolf scalps or wolf pellets or whatever they're called.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, ew. Anthony suggested that the usual certification process be modified, requiring that the bounty seeker should obtain the certificate from the president of the real estate bank rather than a local justice of the peace. Okay. So it sounds like a lot of extra footwork for the little
for the bank
hunters, or for everybody.
Yeah.
So Wilson, who, like I said, happened to be the president of the bank, perceived Anthony's remarks, which were likely made in jest, as a personal insult. Ooh. In a fit of rage, Wilson swiftly left the speaker's chair, drew his Bowie knife, and advanced upon Anthony.
Oh, my
Anthony
goodness.
tried to defend himself by drawing his own knife. So it was a straight up knife fight, right? Oh. Wilson then fatally stabbed Anthony, piercing him straight through the heart.
Oh, that is not funny at all, but wow. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And so Wilson, of course, was indicted for murder, but he was ultimately found not guilty by a jury.
Whoa.
Yes.
So why? Does it say why? I need to know why.
Okay. So so they had to, number one, they had to change the venue, which is still pretty common today.
Yes.
They couldn't have the trial in Pulaski County, so they moved it to Saline County. And
is that where Wilson's from?
No, I don't think so.
Is that where his friends are?
I don't know. But in May 1838, Saline County courts, or that's where it was, in May 1838, during the Saline County court term of that year, multiple prosecutors, including John J. Clendenin, Albert Pike, which we've heard of that name.
Yes, there's like Albert Pike Road or something.
Yeah,
correct? Yeah. Okay.
And Bennett H. Martin directed the state's case against Wilson. So he had multiple people kind of against him here. Taylor lodged in the home of the grandfather of future Confederate boy soldier David O'Dodd. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. While Wilson lodged at the same place as the judge, paying for the judge's meals over the course of the trial.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Talk about oh wow. Things were so different.
I know. He's like, okay, so after court today, you want to go to Denny's? No.
Yeah. I'm paying. Yeah. I mean, don't even think about it. No big deal.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm sure that was.
But did it have a jury? I mean, did it have a jury or just the judge?
I think it was a jury trial. Yeah.
But the judge was like, "Look, I mean, my meals covered. He's a good guy. We lodged together. We watched TV."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So he stabs a man through the heart with, I'm sure, many witnesses because he got mad at him. I mean, come on.
Yes.
And then he gets off because he's literally lodging with the judge.
Yes.
Oh my.
That is what happened.
Take notes, people.
I mean, we do, I think, because we do the true crime aspect of it. I think that's why that it just seems just so crazy, how things were.
I mean, the 1830s, you could get away with murder. Literally.
Apparently. So John Wilson ended up dying in 1865. Well, okay. I mean, it was a while after that.
Several years later.
He
lived a full 30-something years.
Yes. But like I said, his lawyer, he must have a good one. His name was Chester Ashley. and he argued that he could never receive a fair trial in Pulaski County.
Well,
Because
yeah.
think about it, a lot of those legislators were like lawyers and people
yeah.
that probably were friends with Anthony, and that was probably not going to end well for him had it been in Pulaski County. So the judge did agree to move it to Saline. Now, he was found. Oh, go ahead.
We have to correct that. Celine. Or whatever you call us, phone us in, people.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so actually what he was found guilty of excusable homicide and released.
They had some pretty different interpretations of killing someone back then. So
yes. So that's what this other source says. It was excusable homicide. Okay. Yes. And then he was reelected to the Arkansas House in 1840.
So he got to kill someone, stab someone through the heart, and then get reelected.
Yeah, and get this, in 1842, during a debate on real estate bank, right? He became angry again with a different representative named Lorenzo Gibson, but thankfully Gibson survived this.
Yeah. Whoa. So he did it again?
He got a fight with argument. He didn't pull a knife this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm sure everyone was like, "Oh crap!"
Oh, they probably were like, "We'll agree." Yeah. Bye bye.
Whatever you say, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this guy.
But, yeah. So Lorenzo did not suffer the same fate as the Anthony did, because apparently some House members came in and intervened and stopped it from becoming a physical fight.
Because they'd seen where this went before.
Exactly. And so Wilson ended up. Yeah. So Wilson ended up moving to Texas, and he ran for election there and won. Wait, no, he didn't. He was unsuccessful. Sorry, let me redo that. He ran for election in the Texas state legislature, but was unsuccessful, and he died in 1865.
Oh, gotcha. Well,
so that was the end of that.
I guess
incident.
Yeah.
I'm
still a little bitter.
So
Not over it.
You have a man that, just straight up died in a horrific manner in that place, in the building. Yes. Yes. So Anthony, let's talk about the victim, because, I know this was a long time ago, but he was still a victim.
Yeah.
He was buried in Little Rock's old public graveyard, which is something I think we need to do an episode on.
Oh, yeah.
The old public graveyard. I'm sure it's like a potter's field or something like that. And it was located where the Little Rock Federal Building now stands on Capitol Avenue. There is good reason to believe that his remains are still there somewhere on site, because
they only moved the tombstones.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that when we talk about the state capitol.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So his name isn't among the list that were being removed and I guess moved over to Mount Holly Cemetery in 1860.
Oh my.
Yeah. And Anthony never married. He didn't have a wife, and he didn't have any heirs.
Wow.
Yep. Huh. So
and all about wolf's clothing, right? Wolf's shear, whatever.
Wolf pellets, like wolf skin, or not? Well, the fur. I'm sorry, not skin. The fur. The fur. Yes.
Yikes. I mean, that stuff was probably legit back then, though. I mean, fur trading. Come on.
Yeah, it was definitely a way of life. So fast forward to October 24th, 2022. That's a long fast forward.
Wait. Yeah, where do that was the time warp.
It was the time warp. They did have a paranormal investigation there.
Oh, at the Old Statehouse?
At the Old Statehouse, and they did feel a presence there.
Okay.
Could it be Anthony? I don't, who knows?
Wow.
But in an interview with KARK Channel 4 News, state historian David Ware, he basically, kind of gave them the rundown of the death of Anthony. And, he called it a very prominent death, which I would, I would actually say, yes, that's true. It's very prominent. He also,
and horrific.
And horrific. Yes. Yes. He also stated that, the State House in its, how it is, how it was built on the cheap. And so you have
it was built on the what? Sorry.
It was built on the cheap. It was cheaply built.
Oh.
You know how they had the grandiose plans?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they had those grand plans for it, and then they ended up using all the cheaper materials to build it. Yes. And so according to where you have those creaky floors, and we've been there. We used to go there for like field trips and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And when you would walk up and down the stairs, or when you would walk across the floors, it's very creaky.
Yeah, it's old. It's creaky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there have been, ghosty things happening in there. There have been people that have done their, paranormal investigations there, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
I didn't want to really talk about that until after we got through the Brooks-Baxter War and the other things.
So we flash forward. Let's flash back, right?
Yeah, we're flashing back. Okay. Yeah, everybody hold on tight.
Okay.
Yes. So in 1872, there was a governor's race, and it was between incumbent Governor Joseph Brooks and challenger Judge Elisha Baxter.
Okay.
And they both ran as Republicans. However, Brooks alienated many in his own party by many different things. He alienated people, and he was proved to be pretty unpopular. And so as a result, Baxter won. And was sworn in as governor in 1873. Mm-hmm. So once in office, Baxter further antagonized his Republican supporters by restoring voting rights to former Confederate officers, effectively shifting the state's political balance back towards the Democrats.
So yes, because the Democrats had been Confederates, yeah.
Yes. So this led some to speculate that Baxter may have been a Democrat masquerading as a Republican to gain power during the Reconstruction era. So, yeah. When many ex-Confederates felt like they were being disenfranchised. Yes.
So he probably did that because, after the Civil War happened, I mean, it was, it was probably, you weren't going to it was going to be tough to run as a Confederate, the losing party there.
Yeah.
So nobody likes a loser.
So we have Brooks who alienated his Republican supporters before, and then we have Baxter that antagonized them after. And so a lot of people were in a really crappy mood by the end of all this, right? So
sounds familiar, right?
Oh, yeah, it does. So the political tensions came to a head in 1874 when Brooks assembled a militia of over 600 men and seized control of the State House in Little Rock, declaring himself the rightful governor. Baxter responded by gathering around 2,000 supporters to fight Brooks, resulting in a standoff that required federal troops to intervene and forcibly removing Brooks and his militia.
No doubt. It's like, we've been down this road before, Brooks.
Yeah. So remarkably, even after too soon. Remarkably, even after the constitutional crisis, President Ulysses S. Grant sought to make amends by appointing the deposed Brooks as postmaster of Little Rock, a classic example of political patronage.
Okay. So I was going to say something about so let's just put him in charge of all the mail. No big whoops.
Yes, that's what happened.
And it's like, and these people, and it's so true to government. I know people that work in government. If you're listening, you're probably like, yep. Or in anything, it's like, they're not doing a great job. Let's just move them. Let's just move them over here.
They'll be quiet. Let's just move them over here. So there you go. There's another example of something that was unfortunate, and
Okay. So how many people died in this conflict?
So it looks like about 200 casualties is what the
Okay.
internet says. So 200. So
Yes.
it basically says 200.
Okay.
Yes, Brooks
Gotcha.
Baxter war casualties 200, and it says roughly 200, and that was from the
Okay.
ArkansasHeritage.com. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so we'll go
That's
with
a
that.
lot.
So
I mean,
that's
what
a
a
lot of
mess.
death. So
Yes.
no wonder people say that they hear creaky stairs, because there was a lot of things going on. But I haven't gotten to the weirdest part yet.
Oh,
So the
okay.
weirdest part's coming up. Did you
So hold on
know?
to our britches,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Did you know that the Old Statehouse used to be a school for medical sciences?
I did not know that,
Yes, it
actually.
used to be for a very short period of time between 1911 and 1935. So about 24 years or so. It was a medical school, and it was the home of the Crosset experiment, which
What is that?
that's yeah, it sounds very interesting.
Okay.
But yes, so in 1912, as the state government occupied the new Capitol building, which, like I said, we will talk about on a later show, the members of the legislature threatened to sell the Old Statehouse.
Oh.
So, to prevent this, Oral Hodges, who was the Secretary of State and a preservation advocate,
Oh, good.
allocated space in the Old Statehouse to the University of Arkansas Medical Department.
Oh,
So
cool.
I don't think it was called UAMS yet,
At that
but
time.
this is probably a precursor to that. So
Gotcha.
the Arkansas School of Medical Sciences moved into the Old Statehouse and transformed it into their new headquarters for the Crosset experiment. So they were conducting groundbreaking research. Scientists were making discoveries there and basically looking at two specific things: hookworms and malaria.
Oh,
And
and
malaria was a huge deal.
I believe it.
Yes, it
So,
was a huge deal in Arkansas in the 1800s and early 1900s.
well, and because we are a very humid climate, we have a lot of mosquitoes. And then
Yes.
think about all of those areas in Arkansas, like hawk, just where the farming's going on. I
Right.
I can see that. So is it the hookworm and malaria connected? Like the connection of
Now I
those
don't
two, or
know about all that.
two
I
different
mean, we could do a
things?
whole episode probably on the Crosset experiment. It
Oh my,
sounds interesting.
interesting.
Yes. So their treatments were pretty innovative, it looks like, and and they received global recognition for what they were doing there.
Wow.
And according to the sites like Arkansas Heritage, this place was it was saving lives across the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But according to Arkansas Heritage, the medical school's activities were poorly suited for where they were. I
Ooh.
mean, they were in a, they were
Yeah.
in and they were in a historic site,
Yeah.
and they had to use a lot of sheep for what they were doing. So there were sheep pens erected behind the building.
Oh.
Yes, and
Hmm. That
the
probably wasn't a good look down
or
there.
smell apparently, because the odor was really unpopular among the other people that were living and working in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and also the Humane Society, which had a headquarters within the Old Statehouse at the time,
Oh,
strongly objected to the keeping of dogs for medical research. Yes.
okay. Yeah.
This practice ended completely when Pulaski County Deputy Sheriff, I didn't get his name, but when a Pulaski County Deputy Sheriff found one of his own bloodhounds in the pens
Oh.
about to be experimented on.
Oh my goodness. So they were just like grab and go, time to
Yeah.
experiment, guys. Oh my. Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
interesting.
Yes. And so also the medical students were a little rowdy, and they were a cause for concern for some people. So as part of a school tradition, the students who made big errors and things were required to publicly confess their transgressions through graffiti. So they were graffitiing the walls of the building.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So who made them do this? I mean, was this just like
It was just I think it was just a tradition that
with
they had.
them? Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yes. So the aspect of the school that was deemed most distasteful, though, by the other inhabitants of the Old Statehouse was the dissection lab, which housed human cadavers.
Oh.
Yes. And so there, I mean, we've got a, bloody battle. We've got a murder. We've got human cadavers. I mean, we're just kind of running the gamut here. So the pickling vat in the basement was particularly repugnant, and it was not uncommon. What?
Did you just say pickling vat?
I said the pickling vat.
That just sounds horrific, by the way.
Yeah, and it was not uncommon for club ladies attending night meetings to encounter carts laden with human remains en route to the third floor incinerator. So there was an incinerator on the third floor.
So, okay. So the problem, I mean, the problem is a lot, but the Old Statehouse was being like, so there were several things going on inside, and so these things were mingling.
Yes, they were intermingling, and that was part of the big problem because, the kids or the students within the medical school, they were just, doing what they were supposed to do, but they were young people, and they were probably doing some goofy things, like, for instance,
were pickling some sheep and dogs and whatnot.
Yeah, well, I don't know about dogs, but they used a lot of sheep. They stopped with the use of the dogs, thank goodness. But the sheeps, the
poor sheep.
I know. Okay, so they also, a few of them had a little bit of a dark humor, and
as one would in that field.
So in the 1920s, a fight involving human internal organs erupted in the dissection lab, and they said
I'm laughing, but that's
appalling.
Gross. It was what? It was appalling
and shocking to watch this. Is what is what people said.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, and then students would often play pranks and hide bits of anatomy and belongings in the belongings of their peers. Yes.
Oh, here's a good old fashioned eyeball hanging out my purse.
Yes, and according to reports, when a medical student's jacket was left at a local restaurant, someone found it, and it contained severed human fingers. And yes, and the entire community was just aghast. They couldn't believe it.
This is like the 1920s, a Victorian age.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
So obviously, someone took a few severed human fingers with them to dinner. Ew.
Oh, great. Ew.
Yes.
That's just, I'm laughing, but that's disgusting. Ugh.
Yeah. But it's interesting to think that happened in that place. I mean, I did not know that until I started doing this research.
Well, it's amazing what happened, before rules.
Yes.
I mean, but it's just, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. So fast forward to 1947, the Old Statehouse was made a museum by acts of the Arkansas legislature, and that's what it's been ever since. In 1969, it was placed on the National Register of Historic Places, so I don't think there could be any more human organ fights there.
Oh, good.
Yes. And then it was designated as a National Historic Landmark in 1997. And it continues to play a vital role in, celebrating the history of Arkansas and its people. Now, I will tell you that I remembered this because we were kids when this happened, but it didn't really sink in that this is where he was. But Bill Clinton, right? Bill Clinton from Arkansas, he was our attorney general for a while before he was governor. And he loved the Old Statehouse. I did not know that. He was very instrumental in turning it into a modern museum. And then later, during his first term as governor in 1979 and beyond, he would frequently return to the building, and he ended up using it as a backdrop for some of the major milestones of his political career.
Interesting. So he just loved it.
He did. He did. It was at the Old Statehouse that Clinton announced his presidential candidacy. And it was also where he celebrated his election victory in 1992.
No, I didn't really think about that because I just thought it was like the governor's mansion or whatever. But
no, it was there.
Yeah, and wasn't there? It seems like there was always some renovations going on, and he had to live in a little trailer while the.
Oh no, that was That was the other one. That was Huckabee.
Huckabee.
Yeah, he
Poor
lived in a
Huckabee.
triple wide.
Triple wide, yes.
Yes, yes. So in the weeks that followed, the building Clinton called his favorite in Arkansas served as the stage for his cabinet appointments. And then on the evening of November 5th, 1996, the Old Statehouse once more became the center of the world's attention as President Bill Clinton became the first Democrat since Franklin Delano Roosevelt to be reelected for a second term. And Clinton stated, yes, that the Old Statehouse embodied both a reverence for the past and a hope for the future. And so I thought that was pretty cool.
I will say, love him or hate him, he is an excellent speaker.
He is.
Excellent.
But as I said, it has gone through stages where it's been in disrepair, right?
Yeah.
According to the Arkansas
that whole, being graffitied,
all the things. Yeah. So the Old Statehouse has long struggled with structural problems since the beginning, and the most serious issue is its foundation. And by the mid-1990s, there were concerning gaps that had emerged between the walls and the central staircase, as well as between the walls and the floor of the large 1885 House of Representatives chamber. This critical situation could no longer be ignored, and in 1996, the Old Statehouse Museum was closed to undergo the most extensive restoration in its history. Yes. And then when they did their initial analysis on the structural damage and issues, they found it primarily attributed to that flawed foundation. Yeah. So there was a flaw from the beginning.
I mean, I would say anytime you're near water and being so close to the river like that, and just the age, I'm sure that there's a lot of problems. Does it have a basement?
I don't think it does. Okay. I've not read anything about a basement.
I would love to go on a paranormal investigation there.
That's actually the next thing I was going to talk about. Yes.
Go.
So there was a paranormal investigation of the Old Statehouse that KARK was able to, I guess they either interviewed them after or they went with them. I don't know. But there is a link, and I'll link I guess they were with them because they have a video of it here.
We can link it in the show notes.
Yeah. All right. So a clairvoyant named Samantha with Sweet and Sour Paranormal of Little Rock was interviewed by KRK about her experiences at the Old Statehouse during an investigation. She said that she sensed a presence in the children's library. It could have been Anthony. Yeah. But, with the activity that she saw in the children's wing, she thought it was someone younger. The paranormal team then used a mechanical doll to communicate, seeing if they could piece together some of the words that they had recorded. But they recorded mostly goos and gaws from the toy or whatever. I keep thinking about long legs. I mean, that's all I can think about. Yeah. But Samantha said, I can sense someone important and someone with power, but someone with a lot of anger.
That's interesting.
But then she said that the age I'm picking up is 3 or 4.
Well, toddlers are angry.
Yeah, toddlers are angry. And the name she's picking up is Henry. And she said that's what it had sounded like to her. So while she's doing that downstairs, upstairs, there was another investigator who was recording audio in the exhibit wing. And according to historical records, that space was where the autopsy room was, when it was the old medical school. So in that room, they were asking questions, and there were 2 specific questions that apparently got the biggest response. The first one was, "What's your name?" And it sounded like someone said, "I don't know." And then the second,
I like that.
The second question was, "Do you like music?" And the audio seems to pick up no.
I don't know my name, and I don't like music.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So the same was found in a different area of the State House that is not accessible to the public and off limit to guests, where supposedly there was cadaver storage used when the medical school took over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Darn cadavers. And
yes. So in that little in that little area, the investigator said, "Do you want to talk with me or do you want us to leave?" And a voice heard over multiple radio frequencies replies, "Hello," but doesn't carry on a conversation.
Okay. Was it like Adele's "Hello, it's me"?
Or Lionel Richie's "Hello"? Either one. Either one is fine. So,
I've been listening to a lot of Adele. Songs. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So, and this isn't the only thing that has been seen or heard in the building. Mm-hmm. I was looking at the Haunt World website, Haunt World.
Mm-hmm.
Haunt World, and apparently there has been a manifestation, and an apparition of a man dressed in a 19th century frock is seen walking down the aisles of the central hall on the second floor.
Okay.
And they think it's John Wilson, the guy that killed Anthony, but he died in Texas, so that'd be a long way for the ghosts to travel.
But they say that, I don't know what people believe, and I don't know what people say that the energy can go back to something that was important to that person. So it would be interesting if he was like, "Look at me, I got away with murder here." I don't know. I guess you never know.
Well, and also they said that, also they said that it could be Joseph Brooks trying to make another comeback.
His comeback tour, huh?
His comeback tour.
He's like, "Come on, boys, let's take over the Old Statehouse."
And now everybody would be like, "Okay, go ahead."
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, we've moved on." Whatever.
Yeah. So some claim that the representatives chamber is the most haunted, and I guess it is because of that murder that happened.
Situation.
Yes.
There murder in the State House.
Murder in the State House. There you go. There's just a lot that I think could be going on in there.
Yeah.
And so like you said, that energy that some people talk about that is left behind. Some people believe that. I could definitely see if that is true, then the State House would definitely be a ripe destination for some energy.
It's interesting that they haven't seen any spirits with cans of spray paint, perhaps.
Spray paint. Yeah. that was very interesting. I didn't know that they had.
I didn't know that either.
They had let these students do all that.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like Animal House going on in the 20s.
It does. It does. Oh, I'm looking at some pictures, and I'll post some of these. But when Wilson got old, he was not an attractive dude. But then there are all these representations, all these drawings and paintings of the murder of J.J. Anthony.
Okay.
I mean, this was like a humongous deal. I mean, he was basically, assassinated by another politician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it could very clearly be the next Hamilton.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll be called, what's his name? Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony.
I don't know, but man, I was thinking of something. I don't know. There's a lot there. So
there is a lot there. So what do you think, haunted or not?
I mean, it sounds like a lot of people say yay. So I don't know. I would love to experience that myself. So phone us, people, if you are going to conduct another investigation, because that one was conducted in 2020 or fairly recent,
2022. Right? It was a fairly recent.
Okay.
Yes.
So I mean, it's been a couple years. Let's shake things up, guys. So invite Unexplained Arkansas, please.
Yeah.
Please, if you go back. That would be very interesting. I would really enjoy that. So
yes.
Just to traipse around that place. I love to traipse in old
You do.
place. I do.
You do.
So yay.
Especially in the middle of the night while I'm sucking down the curtains with my snoring.
Yes.
Yes.
That's my favorite time. And then you're like, "Don't leave me." And I'm like, "Bye."
Yeah. Okay. So that's it. That's all I have on the State House. I know that was a lot. Covered, a couple of different decades, or not decades, couple of different centuries.
Several.
Several decades. Right.
Several decades.
So that's what I have. And if I'm missing something, or if there's experience that you guys have had, please phone it in. Let us know. That's cool.
We can always have a part two to this if there's,
especially if we get to do a ghost hunt there.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, if we can do that, that'd be awesome. So yay. So perfect.
Yeah. All righty. That's all I've got.
Well, just to end on, check us out on all the stuff, the social medias. Buy some tickets to our live show. Come see us the 28th in Independence County Library. Check out the RCAST thing. We've got a lot of stuff we'll be posting, so definitely find us on the social medias. Buy some merch.
Yes. All right. Well, we will see you on the next episode.
Love ya.
Love ya. Bye.
Bye.